Now that we have added the relatively easier pages, we can now move on to add pages for the user's item. If we take a look at this on the finished project, the manage users page or the table looks very much like what we saw in the manage posts page. Okay, and then as for the add users form, there is a bit more modification that we need to do. So let us get started with the manage users table. I'm going to collapse everything so that we can see our folder structure. And then inside the admin folder, I'm going to create a new folder called users. And I will create an index.html file inside the users folder to represent the manage users page. So this is going to look similar to the manage posts page. So I will open index.html inside the post folder. I will select all the code inside it and copy. And then I paste it inside index.html in the users folder. I'll scroll to the top and start modifying it to suit our users. So instead of manage post on the title tag, it's going to be manage users. The header will remain the same, so will the sidebar. The title of the table of the page is going to be users. We don't need to display the message again. Let's just remove that. We don't need featured posts, so I'll take out the form. We are going to need the search input as seen on the finished project. We need the search input, and we also need a select option or filter, but we'll change it from filter post to filter users. And the options inside this filter are going to be a bit different. So I'll remove all except for the first one, the one that filters all users. Now let me take a look at the finished project to see the number of filters we have. So we have newest, oldest, verified, unverified. Let me see. I'll duplicate this multiple times and then modify it gradually. Notice that we are setting the values to all capital letters while the labels themselves are small letters. Okay, so let's start modifying them. Okay, and that's it. So all I have done is added the options that the user can use on this drop down to filter the values or the records on the table. Okay, so that's it for the filter group field. Now we proceed to table buttons. We are not going to have a trash for users, so I'm going to take the trash button. I will take out the trash button, and then this add post button should say add user instead. Okay, and then down on the table itself, let us see the columns that are available. We have the serial number, the username, email, and row. So we have serial number, username, email, and the row. Okay, I will take out the other two. So we have username. Let me just leave our Melvin. The email, We don't need to wrap the email around a link. And we are also going to leave the trash and the edit buttons. So let me take out the related post link. So username, email, role, username, email, and lastly role. And then when we add that, we can take out the extra two columns that are not needed. I'm going to take out the other table row, and then we can duplicate this one instead, since I've already modified it to suit the structure. And then I'll just leave it at this. We are going to need pagination on this table, so we are going to leave the table footer as it is. We don't need featured post, so I will take out the script for featured post. And with this, let us refresh and see how it looks. So we are going to visit the users folder and the index.html inside that folder. Okay, this is what it looks like, and I believe this is exactly what we want. Or not exactly, I think this link here is supposed to say delete, since we don't have trash for our users. So let's change this to delete. Okay, so the trash link should say delete. Okay. The CSS class will remain fine, so let's leave it at that. Let's leave it as it is. And then there is one detail I remember forgetting to fix. Here it says search post input, but we are searching for users, so we should modify it to search user input. Okay, let us refresh. And that is all about the manage users page. Now let us add the create users page. We are going to create a file inside the users folder called create.html, and this is going to look a bit like the role, like the create page for roles. Okay, because it is a small form. Let us take a look at it. Okay, so it's a small form. So if we copy from the create.html in the roles folder, it's going to be easier for us to modify. So I open create.html inside the roles folder and I copy all the code inside that file. And then I paste it inside create.html in the users folder. I'll scroll to the top and make sure the title of the page reads, or the title of the page, or the title tag of the page reads create user instead of create role. Okay, we're going to scroll down to the form itself, and the title of the form should be create user and not create role. It is going to be a small form, so we'll leave this class here as it is. And now let us take a look at the fields we need to add. Okay, I'm just going to leave this one out for now. Let us start considering the fields, the input fields from here. So we have username, email, password confirmation. So let me just change this to username. Okay. Okay, that's username. I'll duplicate it for a number of times for the other fields. Okay, after username we have email. Okay, so that is email, and the type of this field is also going to be email. So HTML recognizes the email type of input. Okay, so the third is going to be password. So I'm going to select all occurrences of username here and change it to password. Make sure that you begin it with a small letter P for all cases except the label. Now the type of this input field is also going to be password, so let us set it and this way it is going to hide the characters as the user is typing. Okay, I'll remove this last duplicate and make sure I duplicate the password instead, because most of the information is going to be the same. We just make sure we change the label to password confirmation, and then the name, let's just say password conf for short, and make sure that the ID on the label, that the ID and the label are all linked up properly. Okay, that's it for these first 4 fields. The next one is role, so it's going to be a select input. So let's add a div with class input group. It will have a label, and the label will be for role. Select option field. The first option is going to be empty. The second is going to be, let's see, author. And I'm going to duplicate this a couple of times and add it for admin and editor. Make sure we give it a class of input control so that the styles apply also. So after the role, we have the bio. Okay, so this description field that we copied from the roles form, I'm just going to modify it to be the field for the bio. So I'll select all occurrences of description on this input group and change it to bio, and make sure the label starts with the capital letter B. Okay, so after bio, we have 3 additional fields for social media links. Okay, I'm just going to copy one of these links here. I'll copy the username link, and then below the text area or below the bio input field, I'm going to paste this 3 times. The first one is going to be for Twitter, so I select all occurrences and change it to Twitter. Make sure the label starts with a capital letter. And this field is optional, so let us indicate that. We'll add the text optional in brackets. Then after Twitter, let me see, we have LinkedIn and then Instagram. LinkedIn, it is optional as well, so let's indicate. And lastly, we have Instagram. Okay, this one is also optional. So let us go back to our projects and visit this page and see what it looks like. So open users and we visit the create.html file inside it. Okay, and it has all the fields that we want on the create user form, except for the image field, which we are going to be adding in the next video. So I'll see you in the next video.